Ladies and gentlemen and in-betweeners, I'm your host, Alexander Rodriguez, here for On the Rocks Radio, where celebrities and cocktails mix tonight. It's Sexy Boys night here. Do you like how I lowered my voice for Sexy Boys? Internationally acclaimed photographer bringing his best #gay face, Magnus Hastings is here. We have celebrity makeup artist and judge on Beauty School Knockout, a smoldering knockout himself. Yes, Anton Khachaturian. Anton, what do I say? Anton Khachaturian. I'm so sorry. I want him to catch me. With our pop culture correspondent and model, Stephen Dehler, and my guest co-host, my evil twin sister, TV personality, and co-host of LA TV's Glitter Bomb, Enrique Sapene. So raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
Thank you for being
Boulevard.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, coming at you from Sunset Gower Studios in the heart of Hollywood, where I drink with your favorite celebrities and we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and that's about it. So pop a cork, pour a glass, lean back, and enjoy On the Rocks every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
It is going to be a bumpy night. We've already been through a bottle of vodka. We haven't even started. Oh, my Lord. We have a full house in the chairs and behind the chairs. Buttons and bows and pantyhose. On the Rocks, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. Thank you to our sober listeners for tuning in. We love you. Thank you for holding our hair back and driving us home. If drunk texting was a sport, I'd be an Olympian. Wah, wah. Hello to our listeners around the nation on iHeartRadio, Universal Broadcasting Network, Player FM, Stitcher, TuneIn, Satchel, iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Of course, we are on Facebook Live right now on Hillcrest Social in San Diego, True FM in Ohio, hello Ohio, and nationally on Bear World Magazine. Rawr. Check out my weekly Bear World articles, movie news, and movie celebrity interviews. This week, for my Movie News Monday, I talk about Brad Pitt in Uranus. He's in space for his first sci-fi picture. Get it? Get it?
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Guess who's in it?
Oh, you are? Really? I was going to say Tommy Lee Jones and Donald Sutherland, but I'm more excited about you being in it.
Yeah, I filmed in it.
Do you play a Martian? Like one of the naked Martians? It's like, welcome.
Well, I'm in a scene on... I can't really get divulged.
Do you show Uranus?
Yes.
But yeah, I filmed it last summer.
That's so crazy.
I was like the distance you are away from Brad Pitt. And I was
how does he look up close? Does he look a little beat?
No, he looked good.
Really?
Yeah, he looked a lot younger than I thought he was going to look.
Oh, well... So glad you're here. That's why I brought you, right? Also, this week we found out what the Joker's real name is. The origin film with Joaquin Phoenix. The Joker's name is... Arthur.
Arthur.
Really?
I know, what a letdown. Arthur?
He had a fancier name on the Gotham show.
He did?
Yeah, he had like something else like Gerard or something.
Apparently
See, that's what I would
apparently
expect,
that
Arthur?
wasn't like the real Joker. Then like
Was it
was
fake
the brother?
Joker?
yeah, so, I don't know.
That was his brother
They
and
got
his
really
brother.
convoluted.
Joker
with that.
adjacent?
Yeah. Pretty much.
He had a twin brother on Gotham or something like that.
Yeah, it
and then
was
he
weird.
kills his brother, and the brother like becomes him.
Yeah, something like that.
Something crazy
Yeah.
like that. But it had a better name.
I'm
Gerard.
sure your
Yeah.
brother could think about a few times.
He's right here. Let me
Yes, I know.
smack him,
Hi.
please.
Interesting.
Interesting, Arthur. Okay. For our audio listeners, you can check out our video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and of course the Hillcrest Social app. Download Hillcrest Social today for free giveaways and LGBT who's who, where's where, and what's what. Mama Rose is in the chat room on ubnradio.com and Facebook. Ask her your question. She'll answer it. If it's a burning question, we'll ask it on air. Please keep her busy. She's near the vodka, and I don't need her drunk texting again. Hello to our engineer, Kurt. Kurt, again, thank you so much for trying to match today.
Oh, thank you. You're no problem. Anytime.
Oh, God.
You got a mic now, or is this new?
Oh,
Yeah,
he's always
I've
had a
been
mic.
upgraded
now.
now.
He can,
he's
now you
upgraded.
can
He
defend
used to have
yourself
a
from this
karaoke
one.
mic that he would sneak out, but, you know. Okay, Kurt, it's straight people time on the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the pun, right? Because
Yeah,
that's the only thing I'm on the show for, right?
Well, that and to push the buttons.
Oh, okay. I've been having dreams that I was a tailpipe every night.
I could go so many places with this joke, but I will not.
I keep waking up exhausted.
I knew that was coming. I was like, it's exhausting. I knew it.
No, you don't play laughter for yourself, Kurt. We know the rules.
I'm pressing the buttons. Of course
I
do.
need access to that button.
That was like one of the few ones I was almost about to get.
So you're playing an exhausted pipe versus an exhaust pipe? Like, I'm not really sure what the dream
Oh,
Well, the
Anton's
exhaust comes
schooling
out
you.
of the pipe.
means. Okay. All right.
Unschooled knockout.
All right. I'm saying. I'm
It's a new show.
serious.
And Magnus is like, oh, God, these Americans are so crazy.
I
What
want to
am
read
doing
into
here?
it. I want to know. I think that's something.
Oh,
We got
whatever.
something
Magnus
there.
is used to it.
You better,
I know, yeah.
You better act like a gentleman, Magnus, because I got dirt on you.
You have.
I do.
Oh, I have some dirt too.
Let the dirt hit the floor. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air, Facebook On The Rocks Radio Show. Subscribe to us on YouTube, please, because I'm on there, but I don't know how to do it well, so please subscribe so I don't look like a fool. Find us on the web at ontherocksradioshow.com. I have links to everything if you just want to go there. Send me an email. Book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Listeners, you have been asking me about it, and this week, it's here. It's official. My new national TV talk show will premiere. I was getting there, sweetie. Paragraph 2.
Shame.
I know you can't read.
It's straight.
Just like the teleprompter we tried to use during the show. This Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Eastern Time, 10 p.m., right?
Correct.
Enrique Sapene and our co-host, who's too busy to be here tonight. Hello, Patrick Gomez. We are coming.
Wait, and Magnus is.
Yeah, and Magnus, you're
Well, am
featured
I on
in
the first
season 1.
episode?
No, you're not
not-
the first
you're
episode,
coming
but
down.
you're.
I'm
But
in
we're
the
building
season.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the season.
Yeah. So literally, you can turn on your TV and see us. So search your cable for Glitter Bomb. Go to latv.com. You can use their cable searcher to find out what channel we are because we're in 22 million homes. I can't even believe it.
Oh, look at that sexy bee right there.
That's that. Yeah. The things I do for money. That's me in a bee
That's
costume.
crafty bee right there.
You seem very happy about it too.
Well, because we do a thing called Crafty Bee, and I thought, it's Crafty Bee. Well, it's supposed to be Crafty Bitch, but I got it wrong.
It's quite a sting.
It's not just a pretty face with a brush.
Oh, do you see that? Do you see that? That was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's.
No, I'll sneak him in.
Yeah. Well,
That's what
again,
she
no
said.
comment.
Thinking of
I'll
exhaust.
just drink.
We see each other.
We see each other.
We'll hear from Magnus in 30 minutes.
Or one of his sisters.
I'm actually sober now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I'll be drunk soon though.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Just give me a moment.
Sweetie, put a straw.
Actually, can I have a top up?
Yeah. Yes. You want a what?
Oh, stop.
Yeah, what was that? Can you
That's a unique request
elaborate?
from Mr. Magnus Hastings.
Tell me when.
Let's take a peek
Yes,
at what to expect from season 1 of Glitter Bomb. Take it away, Kurt. Are you ready to get Glitter Bomb?
Welcome to Glitter Bomb.
Where we discuss the latest in pop culture,
Entertainment and news. I'm Patrick Gomez. I never was a sports kid at all. Tell us about the engagement. Where did it happen? When did it happen? How did it happen?
This is Kim's department here. She tells the story way better than I do.
Enrique Sapene. I disagree.
That's very
on an
exciting.
epic scale.
We're not done yet.
Let's put you in the hot seat from the beginning, because of course you started with Menudo.
It was incredible. I was a kid.
So
I was
cute.
about 13 years old when I auditioned to be part
He
of
was a Menudo with Ricky Martin.
I'm Alexander Rodriguez. When you make impulse shopping buys like this outfit, craziest thing you've ever seen in Vegas. Keep it clean.
What do you feel like you learned about dating on those shows? That's what I want to know, because we know how things don't work out, but I want to know, what did you take from that and oh, okay, I'm going to use this in my real life.
Yeah, the thing is for me, I went on to actually find love, so
Jesus
I got engaged
Lord.
both
Blue
times.
steel.
What I really learned, I know, both times.
Are you laughing?
Blue steel, red steel, green steel.
He's coming back for season 2.
Oh, yes.
And 3 and 4.
Who is it?
He won The Bachelorette.
Does anyone actually win The Bachelorette?
So he was
He got
engaged.
Did anyone actually watch it?
Yes,
I missed it.
millions of people, Anton.
I watched Bachelor in Paradise because it's when they're just mean to each other.
He was
and
on
he actually
Bachelor in
was
Paradise,
on that too.
And he met his second fiance on Bachelor in Paradise, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then she wrote a book about
He
it.
keeps on getting engaged.
so he
and I
won.
asked him.
His chapter was very small.
Apparently, because I asked him, I'm like, he's like, he got engaged twice on the show. I'm like, are you Latin? What's going on?
Yes. And I told him, I was like, maybe you haven't found the right boy yet. Oh.
Yeah, That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tune in this Thursday. Again, for more information, go to latv.com and look up Glitter Bomb. On the Rocks is on the road is official. I'm the MC for Palm Springs Pride again this year on the main stage the first weekend of November. I'm hosting the pre-Pride pool party on Friday. I'm the main stage host on Saturday with some celebrity guests from On the Rocks popping up. And then Sunday, my Glitter Bomb boys and I are taking over the main stage for Sunday, and we are in the parade. Make your travel plans. This is one of the best prides. It's a great way to end Pride season. It's so low-key. It's family-friendly. There's something for everything, and if you want something, you can find it. But if you don't want it, then you don't have to look at it. Let me introduce my bestie for tonight. Enrique Sapene is an actor, host, and producer. The Venezuela native has entertained audiences internationally as a reporter on Univision, NBC, ABC, and Telemundo. As an actor, he has recurred on the Amazon Prime series Borderline and his telenovelas Pecadora, El Alma Herida, Eva la Traera, y Tomame o Déjame. Oh my God. I don't even get paid extra for doing that. They have sold worldwide. In 2017, he joined the cast of one of my favorite guilty pleasures, the docuseries My Life is a Telenovela. And believe me, I've gotten to know him and his life. It is a telenovela. It aired on WeTV and Latin America. You guys have to check it out. The pilot is free on YouTube. It's delicious.
It's actually on Hulu, too.
And it's on Hulu now, so that's perfect. Go see that. And this Thursday, we see Enrique in his new national Latinx LGBT talk show, Glitter Bomb, nationwide on LATV. Please welcome Enrique Sapene! So, we went through this whole producing thing together, and it's a little bit different when you're in front of the camera and behind the camera. We got no sleep. Our bags get darker and darker. Our poor makeup girl every day was like, we need a little bit more.
It was getting rougher and rougher.
You're just using a crayon by then.
Yes, or CGI. James Cameron's like, I can fix this. We'll make it look good. Avatar Glitter Bomb. But in producing, what are some of the biggest challenges that you had with this show?
You, boo.
True story. No, this is going to be a long night.
Apparently so.
No, actually, well, you produced with me. I mean, we walked in from the first moment. This was our idea.
Over a year
We pitched it about a year ago, and finally somebody listened to us, and they gave us money to do this. They're crazy. But we had, it was coordinating and everything, and, the talent. That was a challenge,
I think that was the biggest thing, because we worked really well on building the scripts, who we wanted on the show. The set looks fantastic. They really took our vision. But you're right, dealing with those guests. And Magnus, you dealing with all the drag queens for your photo shoots, I can't even imagine.
Well, I dealt with you three. So.
We were
oh, come on.
Watch it.
We were easy. Not like Alexander easy, but we were
Alexander was slightly more difficult than the worst drag queen, but the rest of you were easy. Okay.
No, I thought we were fine to work with.
No, you were really fun. It was really fun working with you.
But having to schedule all the talent, especially with the personalities, because we had some pretty good talent coming in, and they all thought that they were the star. Of course, when you're on a talk show, you guys know, you're on a segment for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you're out.
Right.
But to prepare for that is like a whole thing.
No, and the schedules too, and the last minute changes, and then you have like so many people that you can book in one episode, and you're relying on them, and you don't have a backup plan. It's not like, oh my God, if this person doesn't show up, oh, let me just call, Justina Machado is just waiting for my call. That's not going to happen. Yeah. So it's like when they cancel like the night before, but one cancel, remember?
But LA's like the city for people to flake.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. It could be, obviously, if you say maybe to a party, you're not going. Like, we all know that.
Yeah.
But it's like for big, appearances on a talk show.
Do you know what was great to find out? Like, we had housewives come in. So who were the real bitches and who were the really nice ones? And we saw that big time. No, even with like the demands. Some were like, some of the housewives were like, cool, we'll roll in, like what time, makeup and hair, like common demands, like, okay, who's going to do us, But then there were the ones that were like, well, what time's the car picking me up?
Or they want a hotel the night before. It's like, bitch, you live in Los Angeles.
And like, bitch, you live down the street in a freaking shithole. It's
like, calm down. Yeah, you guys should do a match game of like demands and then the housewives and like kind of see if you can guess.
Yeah.
Because I already have ideas.
There's this fantastic website, and Enrique, you actually brought it to me. Agents and managers and people like us that work kind of behind the scenes, they write anonymous things about their clients, but they can't name them by name, but they describe what they are. Like, give me an example.
But it's to a point. It's to a point where like you know who they are, but you can't really.
It's like this short actor,
this little actor. He wants to be an action hero.
Okay,
and
Tom
he's
Cruise.
way too.
Whose name rhymes with Tom Cruise.
That's what I thought. I mean, I know, no shame to like.
His name is Brom Bruce.
Yeah.
Tom
mean, no shame to short people. Hello. I mean, but you know what I mean?
Do you remember the apple boxes we went through on Glitter Bomb? I was like, bring in the box.
That's going to be like the name of my bio.
You're the one standing on a chair, to be fair.
That'll be your autobiography. Bring in the apple box.
Standing on a chair, to be fair.
Can you show us the chair, please? It's us we're in a white box. Poor Kurt doesn't know what #gayface is. It's in a white box, Kurt. White box. White box.
The moment's passed.
Like all the boxes, see the
I'm
white
still in
ones?
this moment.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, he's not
that
on a
one
chair
I'm not. But do you see the dainty little pose I'm doing? Hello.
Hello.
And I was like, why can't I hold up the wood?
That's so funny, like the leg crossover
Yeah, you got the
pose.
Holly.
Yes. It's because my pants were too long.
Oh yeah, that's the excuse.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be posing like that anyway.
Anyway, but we did have a lot of fun on the show.
I don't understand why our picture doesn't look like Steven Diller's.
Oh yeah, there's mine over there.
Well, we haven't gotten to his segment yet. There's a sneak peek.
Everyone take a breath.
Yeah, no, literally. It's like, my God.
For God's sakes.
It's a family show. Anyway, Enrique, but we just came back. Glitter Bomb took over NYC, the Big Apple, by storm. We had such a great time.
Yes.
And the highlight, I have to say, we went there to cover fashion designers of Latin America. Tell us a little bit about what Fashion Designers of Latin America was, what the event was like.
Which is so weird that you're asking me this because you were there with me. But like the funny thing is that
I talk enough.
We partner up with Fashion Designers of Latin America, which is the most amazing organization that I've ever dealt with, ever. And all they do is showcase Latino fashion designers.
I love that.
So they're giving Fashion Week is happening at the same time that Fashion Designers from Latin America has this platform for equally, if they're super famous, like Agatha Ruiz de la Prada, who's like, like the Carolina Herrera of Spain.
That one I knew.
Agatha Ruiz.
First one.
But next to and like new undiscovered talent that she, Albania Rosario is the head of the company, and she scouts them all over the world, the fashion designers, and discovers talent, and then she brings them and she blends them all in this show. So all of a sudden you're looking at Agatha Ruiz de la Prada, sorry, and then all of a sudden this other designer walks in that you've never seen in your life, but they get the exposure, they get the time on the platform to show their art.
And I have to tell you, this woman we met, Albania, who put it together, she started as an intern. She was interning for New York Fashion, like the Mercedes-Benz New York Fashion Week, and she's like, why am I not seeing our own culture on here?
Correct.
She started this, like, how many years ago? 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, like 3 or 4 years ago, and she's grown exponentially, which is like
this event was huge.
As
you can
Uptown
see some of these
Fashion Week,
outfits.
and literally so well organized, so every designer was on time. The
looks were
venue was
flawless.
Fantastic. And she has an eye for fashion that is unbelievable. She really knows how to discover talent.
Well, I have to say, I went in, I was thinking, oh, God, we're going to see, sombreros with lace on it. Thrilling. What I saw was, I'm Latino, I can say it.
Yes, that's true.
But what I saw
We're in the union.
was such, because we're talking about Latin America as globally. We always think of Latin America as like, oh, it's Mexico or it's south of us. We had people, Honduras, Nicaragua, Spain,
Venezuela, Colombia.
It literally
everywhere.
was a global event.
Not to mention that the opening night was at Google, of all places. Google's first
They wouldn't even let us
fashion
in. It was
show.
like, hello, bitch, we're on the picture right there. Hello, turn around.
Yeah, they did it at Google, and Google it was the first fashion show ever.
9 years. In fact, Albania is watching. Hello, Albania.
Albania, we love you. You're amazing.
And the first night, seeing the press preview and having these designers share their stories was unbelievable. And it just goes to tell you, like, we all have our stories that we have to tell. We learn from each other.
Yes.
Right now we're at such a climate where it's me versus you, and it's label, label, label.
Correct.
We have the same stories. We have the same family problems. We have the same drinking problems. We have the same boyfriend problems. Sorry, I'm talking about me.
Is this becoming a therapy session all of a sudden?
But it was such a great experience, and the three of us actually got along.
Absolutely, we had a
That
great
was a
time.
miracle.
Yeah.
Milagro. Did I say it right?
The funniest thing was sitting next to Patrick and Alexander on the runway. We were just like looking at the models coming down, and the fashion critiques from Alexander and Patrick.
They had us mic because they wanted the running critiques.
Are you guys going to dress up as the Three Amigos for Halloween?
That's what everybody has asked me. I've gotten that and Hocus Pocus, but Spanish-style Hocus
Oh,
Pocus.
yes.
Oh, Hocus Pocus.
Like a Wiccan flamenco dress.
But the first comment is like, you're Kathy and Jimmy. I'm like, no shit. Give us a break, would you, Mac? Anyway, so hats off to Albania, fashion designs of Latin America. Look them up on Facebook and Instagram. They have a great
Become
Instagram.
a member. They have a membership plan too. For
and
people
hopefully
to,
we'll be there next year. I would love to be there next year.
I would love to be there tomorrow.
And thanks for the sangria, by the way. They have free-flowing sangria. Whoop-woo.
Yeah, they had Hennessy. Hennessy being one of the sponsors for them. And they did a great job.
All right, let's introduce rest of our panel for tonight. Very excited to have all these sexy men here. Stephen Dehler, he's a regular part of our On the Rocks family. He's our resident pop culture correspondent, is a cover and runway model, having appeared in magazines all over the world for many product and fashion campaigns. He's been featured on the cover of the International Men's Magazine that I have many copies of, DNA. And he is one of the faces, main faces and bodies for Marco Fashion Design, and is a favorite on Marco's runway, and has last been seen in last season's RuPaul's Drag Race and Will and Grace the Beach Scene.
Boo, boo, boo.
Please welcome Stephen Dehler. And Stephen, you're actually going to be ending our show with your pop culture review.
Yeah.
What are some of the names you can drop so that we can get excited and stay tuned?
Brad Pitt, hello 2 seconds ago.
Oh well, that was just earlier.
We were just talking about
Henry Cavill's on there. We got Mariah Carey. We have A Star Is Born. We got some beef between the two rap divas.
Okay, all right. So stay tuned for that. Also new to our show, Anton Khachaturian. I love saying your name, by the way. It's like an Italian dish with a little spice in it.
Yeah.
Like Khachaturian. I'll have Khachaturian.
Chicken Khachaturian.
Yes.
I do love some chicken Khachaturian.
Yes. I do love some chicken.
Yeah.
I was going to say quack, quack. What the hell does a chicken say?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Cluck.
What Venezuelan ranch were you raised on? What's that?
That's a great question.
That's not a chicken.
The one in Cressida or something.
Yeah, that's right. That was really good. Who did that?
Yeah, the cluck. That's the word, cluck, right?
Let's be honest. We only know what a rooster sounds like.
We didn't have that game when we were kids. The cow goes.
And the cock goes.
Y la vaca dice.
I had the poor man's version. It's like the bill collector goes.
The drag queen goes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Anton Khachaturian,
Yes.
LA-based makeup artist, has been working in industry since the age of 18. He started his career as an artist for MAC Cosmetics. During that time, he had the opportunity to work with world-renowned makeup artist James Ryder, where he developed his skills to complete many TV and film projects. He graduated from Arizona State University, listen to this, where he earned a bachelor's in women and gender studies, as well as a minor in Spanish. What?
Yeah.
¿Qué?
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
I know.
But do you get asked, do people ask you if you're Latin?
Not really. I get more everything
Persian.
else.
I get
Eastern
Persian.
Indian.
Yeah.
I'm Armenian, but I get all things.
It's interesting.
Like, he's brown, but he's not Mexican or Latin. He's the other brown.
Brownish.
He's the Middle Eastern brown.
Well, because
Yeah.
He's the other brown meat.
Danny kind of looks like Danny has his complexion. My husband kind of has your complexion.
Oh, okay.
And he gets asked all the time. You know, it's like they never nail it. He's Mexican though.
Yeah.
And they like
Peggy
Middle
Suleiman's
Eastern.
one of our friends, just so you know.
Oh yeah, Peggy Suleiman.
She's Armenian.
I love her.
I
I asked her if I could borrow a couple of her cars for a photo shoot. She's like, "Yeah, girl, you can do it."
She's like, which one of our 20? Yeah. She wouldn't even miss it, by the way. She's like, hey,
I was like, just the pink one.
The pink one.
Yeah. But during college, he was granted several life-changing opportunities, which we're going to go over because I'm astounded by not your makeup resume, which I am, but your social awareness resume, which is huge. We're going to talk about. Shortly after graduating, he landed his biggest job. He was hired to design the makeup for the cast of Glee for their national tour. I can't even imagine. Probably some things you can tell, probably some things you cannot tell from that tour.
Yeah, and it was the original 12, so it was an interesting time.
Wow.
This
And
is
Leo
well
Michelle,
over.
you mean?
No, I mean the original 12. I mean everyone was still here with us.
Magnus
So
is like,
I know those stories.
So little small world. I was the entertainment banker at City National Bank in my old life. I was a banker, and so I handled 3 of the lead names for Glee during that. So I knew where you guys were because they would lose their debit cards.
Yes.
They would need an emergency loan.
Yeah.
For things.
Fraud. All of it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, where they would change managers mid-tour because they were getting the press. Somebody else was getting more press than them. So anyway, that was interesting.
Yes.
Upon relocating to LA, he was featured on the 3rd season of RuPaul's Drag U, and it wasn't long until he landed his another television gig as a makeover expert on TLC's Style by Jury. I love judging people, don't you?
You know what? It was. It was.
You're so nice, though.
No, I am nice, but I mean, I can judge with. I feel like I get those kinds of jobs where I can judge with constructive criticism and still be nurturing because the nature
I never
of
get those
me.
jobs.
Well,
I'm like, girl,
I
you
mean,
suck.
the nature of my personality is that I'm not quite. I don't like to be the total villain. But you could read through what I'm saying as, well, yeah, you
but
screwed
you
that
are
one
very
up.
nice.
But I say it in a nice way.
I watched Beauty School Knockout. You are very nice.
Thank you.
In 2014, he signed a deal with exclusive artist management. His unique style and intense work ethic landed him in one of the most sought-after agencies. And he's worked with such celebrities as Tia Mowry, Zoe Saldana. She's flawless.
Flawless.
Selma Blair, Lana Condor, and Pamela Anderson. You can currently catch him judging alongside host Vanessa Lachey on Beauty School Knockout, on Kin Community's new Facebook Watch show, which I'm addicted to, by the way.
Thank
I love
you.
that it's fun little episodes.
Yeah.
It doesn't like take over your life, but you can binge. Your contestants are great. We're going to take a little peek. Please welcome Anton Khachaturian.
Well, thank you.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, but certainly the tallest in the room, British photographer Magnus taught himself photography as a teen. And he was earning his living through his images and secured his first show, which was picked up by Time Out magazine, and soon put to work shooting celebrity covers for Attitude, Boys, and QX International, huge international magazines at such a young age. We're going to talk about that.
It wasn't such a young age. I was an actor first.
A failed actor.
A failed actor.
Failed actor.
And then I changed careers. But in 6 months, that all happened.
Your acting teachers were so happy when you were like, I'm going to change careers. I'm like,
they went, you're too tall.
Yeah.
And you're too gay. You need to change careers.
No, Tommy Toon was like, thank God. At the same time, he was immersed in the colorful gay London scene where his favorite subjects thrived. And anyone who knows Magnus, we know his favorite subjects are drag queens. And his passion for drag photography took him to Sydney in 2005. And for the next few years, he split his work between drag and celebrity photography, which led him to cabaret, which I'm obsessed with that.
That's
that
right
style.
up your alley. Like,
that is. Well, this is real cabaret. I do like cabaret, and they're like cabaret, right? In 2011, he relocated to LA, and he started work on his project Why Drag, and we're going to find out why drag, which led him to a show in New York 2014 that was hugely acclaimed by critics everywhere, which led, of course, to the photography book Why Drag, which is still sold over and over and over. It's so amazing.
The
it's
number
so
one Amazon pre-sale book, Why Drag.
Did you hear that? And then he like,
it's a sexy book. It's a good one.
We call that a humble brag. Well, I'm sorry, just brag.
It was not.
He has been featured as a celebrity guest photographer on RuPaul's Drag Race, and is currently a regular judge on Dragula, which is the alternative drag competition, which we met that crew at DTLA Proud Out. Please welcome. Oh, and he's here to chat about his latest project, which I have the honor to be a part of. #GayFace. Please welcome Magnus Hastings. Okay, so just to open this up, we're all part of the LGBT community in entertainment of some kind or the other. Is it still limiting to be an openly LGBT industry member? And I know makeup is a little different. Like you have to be LGBT.
In some aspects, yeah. I mean, there's still I mean, it's definitely progressed a ton since when I first started like getting into the industry. It was like the best recommendation that people are saying were like, you can't be remotely out whatsoever, and I was just like, that's just not going to be a possibility for me as a person. Like,
it's funny because you still get featured on straight romance novels all the time.
Yeah. So like you since then, I would say like within the last 10 years, it definitely has improved. But I mean, when have you seen a out gay man win an award for being in a gay role? Like it still hasn't gotten there yet.
It's tough for leading men. I mean, you don't really see it very often.
If you're passable, quote unquote passable, and I hate that term, but if you're passable, then it's an issue. For me, what am I going to do?
We do have a responsibility, I think, to push.
Yeah,
push
of course.
Forward.
I mean,
gay it forward, but gay in it forward.
No, but honestly,
I don't agree.
Even with Glitter Bomb now, I just feel like we just have to do it. It's like either we do it or not.
Well, the idea is that if everybody stood up and did it, then the world would change. But then no one has the guts to do that, and occasionally they do it when they're forced to do it.
I mean, it costs
but they've already been out. They've already been in the scene for a while.
I remember when Ellen came out. So if you watch that show, the show was amazing. And then she came out, and instead of continuing doing an amazing show, she then started to beat a drum about being a lesbian, and it was just became a boring script. And then she went, "It's because I came out that it all went wrong." It's like, no, because your scripts were boring.
But her talk show is the biggest hit.
No, totally. But it was because that's my point. The scripts became really boring, and then it didn't work anymore.
And when it
was blamed on coming out.
And when you're not playing a character anymore, and you're yourself on a talk show, you have a much better chance of surviving, essentially. But when you're hired to play a character, I find with friends of mine in the business, it's tricky. They don't want they don't want a gay man to be a love interest because they feel like the female audience isn't going to be interested.
Yeah.
It's like the Matt Boomer kind of situation with Christian Grey. He was released because he was gay. And my sister and my mom are like,
I thought it was because he couldn't act. Sorry.
Well, I mean...
Wait. And they're talking about making him the new Superman, by the way.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, I'm talking about that later.
Boring!
No, not at all. I think he should be the next Superman.
I think Ruby Rose is
have to do a lot of preparation.
That's amazing.
Die. That could not be a better casting than that. And by the way, Batwoman is openly gay.
Yeah.
And it's a gay superhero.
Batwoman.
Oh yeah,
Batwoman. What did I say?
Ruby Rose is playing Batwoman.
Ruby Rose. Yeah.
She can do no wrong though.
Ruby Rose is
Guys,
playing
girls,
Batwoman
and in between
Silverstone was just the perfect.
She was
terrible.
She was Batgirl. Batgirl and Batwoman are different characters.
She was awful. And she's like,
she had this snarl.
She was adorable.
No, Batwoman has been from the beginning on the comic books a gay character.
Yeah.
She was a lesbian.
Okay.
And the CW,
she came out after Batgirl.
The CW is doing a whole crossover thing with Arrow where they're introducing Batwoman, played by Ruby Rose, who's openly gay, and then a spin-off is going to be her own show as a lesbian superhero.
Yeah, I think she removed herself from social media because of a lot of the comments.
Oh, because they were like, she's not lesbian enough.
But also, she's beautiful. Then she fits heterosexual ideals.
Yeah.
So therefore, she's allowed to be a.
She's like the Shane from the L Word. She's like that kind of hot. Like,
yes.
Like I would, like everyone would do her.
You could take her to the opera, but then you could go like bicycle riding, like motorcycle bicycle.
Bicycle riding.
That's like
tandem bicycle.
Nevaeh McKenzie says hello, by the way, from Arizona.
Oh my God!
You know Nevaeh?
No, but I'm just thinking out loud.
Hi, Nevaeh.
Hi.
I remember you, girl.
No. The name actually sounds familiar.
She loves you.
Yeah.
Just a nod.
Okay. So, but I don't agree because I think if you could have a career as an A-list actor and get all those millions of dollars to help your family, to provide for your livelihood, how does that...
I mean, it just depends on how much you want to genuinely be yourself as a person, because like then you have to hide a lot about who you are, and you can't really do a lot of things that you can miss out on stuff that you really would enjoy doing. Like, I mean, it just depends on how you want to live your life. I mean, Colton Haynes, he had to go basically back into the closet for a while, then came back out.
But what's he doing now?
But well, that has nothing to do with. Well, actually, he's back on Arrow, but as a regular.
The choice that you make, though, I think the one thing you shouldn't do is lie.
Yeah.
To not to say no comment or to not talk about it.
Yes.
And I have friends who do that. They don't make any comment about it, but to actually actively say I am not gay is the worst thing you could ever.
Or you can just do what Kevin Spacey did and come out.
Lots of people go through it.
No, Kevin Spacey was in being caught in the dog park with his trousers.
Yeah, I know. He just was coming out at that as an opportunity for being like, oh, I'm
but
gay.
it's not easy for everybody. I mean, it's hard enough to come out to your family, let alone the entire world.
I am sorry,
what's
but
infuriating is no. I was just going to say what's infuriating is that straight actors play gay characters all the time.
But it shouldn't be a question in an audition whether you're gay or straight.
Of course.
It definitely shouldn't be. But of course, you know,
of course it shouldn't go get up in arms that a straight guy's playing a gay character.
Yeah.
It's right for the part.
But I got to a point in my life where, I mean, from telenovelas, I worked on telenovelas for a very long time, playing straight characters as
a crazy nurse, by the way.
Crazy nurse and one obsessed with one of the girls, whatever.
You play crazy?
I didn't have to say it.
Very sane.
I can play crazy better than anybody. But
play.
No, but you have. I got tired of like waking up next to my husband and being like, oh, I can't talk about you, or this is a part of my life that I can't, bring up. And I was like, you know what? F this. Like, if they're going to hire me, they're going to hire me for my talent. And, we read, and Alexander's been a huge part of my life lately, of course, with this project. And you read for certain things. Yes, once I was out and proud and everything, and Glitter Bomb and everything else that I've done came out, the roles on telenovelas shifted for me.
Yeah.
For what I could read for.
But that's fun, isn't it?
But it's a price that I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, and also if you say that if you make a difference to someone who's struggling with their sexuality and they're 12 years old and you make a difference to them, it's more important than making an extra fucking $200,000. It's like it's.
I agree with you 100. And a lot of people might think that we're crazy for saying that, but I agree with you 100%.
Well, it's like with Serena Williams, right? With the U.S. Open, where she's like, it didn't happen for me, but it's going to happen for the next person.
Correct.
It's sort of that kind of situation.
Correct.
Now, Anton and Magnus, I want to talk about, you guys work with figuratively and literally, celebrities at their most naked when they're stressed from the shoot that they have to do, or they're on set and they're about to do something, or they have body issues, they have all these other issues that we're unaware of. How do you guys build that trust? Because I know both of you come so highly talked about by celebrities in your field that you have a certain energy and you establish this trust and this camaraderie with them, and that's how you get some of the looks that you do. But how do you build that? You can't just say, you're going to be my friend and we're going to get along great. What's the process like?
I mean, I feel like I get them before you do, obviously, generally.
Yeah,
unless it's drag and they come in fully assembled, but...
fully assembled.
Like all drag queens are already...
Like, girl, you forgot your mental assembly.
Well, they don't come in and sit in the chair. They come in and they're ready to go. So
from Dragulation complete.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's usually the way it works. But for me, it's interesting you say that, because I have to be as disarming as possible, but I'm also very human. I'm not going to, BS anybody. So oftentimes I just feel like, if you're not going to jive with someone, you're not going to jive with them. That's the bottom line. But I just have to be chill, chill in who I am. And sometimes I can tell when I have a bond with someone, and sometimes I can tell when I don't. Most of the time I tend to do pretty well in that department. And then I have to see how the actual makeup goes and if they're going to be happy and all that kind of stuff. So there's just so many different factors that are involved, but it's just really chemistry with the person.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because I have someone new in my chair, and sometimes you don't want to have the, oh, where are you from? And blah, blah, blah. And that conversation with someone over and over and over and over, because I don't work with the same people. I work with different people all the time. When it's someone that I'm used to working with, then we can just kind of jump right into our groove. But there's a lot of things. I mean, it's a personality thing, and it's a skill thing.
Well,
yes.
It's very much about if you're charming. I mean, part of being a photographer and a makeup artist, it's all about, half my job is about personality and being able to work with people and for them to trust you.
And for them to be comfortable.
Yeah, and to be
You have to disarm them.
Yeah, and often I work with people again, and then so I work with someone who can be a bit off and awkward, and then they see the pictures, and then they relaxed, and then they're much, much easier the second time.
Well, I have to say, walking into your studio, I had a lot of trepidation because I saw who you work with, and I saw your work, and Kurt play some of the pictures. But you have such a casual flair about you, and I don't mean casual. It's like,
meaning I have bare feet, and you're
no, but it's
He's
not
in
even
his robe.
Yeah, and I mean casual as to like we're gonna do this together, and it's not like I'm the photographer and you're the model.
Well, the main thing it's like it's a fucking photograph. Relax, It's not.
I think he said
we're
that
not
to me
curing
once.
cancer. Well, no, but it's the point. It's like when people they come in and it's so important. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's a photograph.
Yeah, but in today's day and age,
but
pictures
are
so
important.
But people have, and I mean this like a personal friend of mine 3 days ago got diagnosed with breast cancer. We need to relax. It's
Correct.
a photograph.
I understand what you're
But-
saying
but
100% in that capacity.
The thing about it, though, is like with your project, particularly with Gay Face, is that your name is at the bottom of that box the whole time.
Yeah, which is why I'm careful about what I let go out there. And then when things go, it's why when I did the thing at DragCon where I put the box up and I did charge money to raise money for the True Colours Fund. And then I went, do you know what? I don't like... I mean, much as I love doing that, it meant that anyone could come in and then and post and do
It vulgarizes
pictures.
it.
Yeah, and so now I actually learned, and I'm very much in a moment going back to what I did with Stephen and with you, and where I go in and go, I'm very specific now, and it's probably going to go.
I'm still waiting for my gift, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. But it's.
I only shop with you.
Silence from Alexander. Silence.
Okay.
I know what you did last summer. What's a great movie?
So good.
I know what you gifts last summer.
What are you waiting for?
Kurt, I want you to play the video behind the scenes of Magnus's Christmas shoot for the drag queen. Now, with the drag queens, but put the volume down because, Magnus, I want to talk to you about your process. When you know you have a shoot and you're kind of given free reins, do you see the image and then look at other images out there? What is your creative process?
It's all in my head. I never look at other images out there. I've just finished shooting the new Christmas Queens. This one's from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I just came up with the concept, and it's like the time I'm happy is when it's all my own idea, and I'm the creative director, and like all of that. And so I'm still working on the final product, but finished the new This Christmas is Christmas Queens. I'm like when you said people, queens turning up in makeup, I had Sharon Needles waking me up in my bed at 6:30 in the morning.
That must have been a look. That must have been a look.
She flew in from somewhere, and I said, "Do you want coffee?" And she went, "Where's the vodka?"
Nothing wrong with that.
Sounds like this group. She'd fit it right
in. She was
in
great. We had it was amazing. But no, but so my process is I do see it in my head, but it's when I'm happy. When I work for record companies or different people, and then they try to take over, then I hate it.
The corporate.
Yeah, because also they think they're creative, and it's like often they're just money people.
Of course, they have no clue. Yes,
when you're hired to do a job, and your vision might get lost in it, it's just tricky.
Now, Magnus, tell us what's the idea behind #GayFace? What is your intention? What are you doing with this project?
But the idea it's about Trump's America. It's about a million things that I just came up with the idea of wanting to do something where the LGBTQ community are standing up, and it was at that moment when we were being threatened with all sorts of stuff about to happen, and I just wanted to go. I wanted to do something which has humor, which is still me, but to go be vocal and loud and unapologetic, and it all kind of happened in one idea. It's like the white box. I said I came up with the plan of doing like a social media gallery launch thing, which I'd never seen done before. I went, this is a good idea. No one's done this. So I did secretly shot 150 people, including Stephen, and then at the same day, at the same time, and I'm amazed no one had done it before. It was launched, and the amazing thing was that everybody did it at the same. It went crazy. And
everyone posted it.
Everyone.
I remember because my Instagram was.
I had no idea,
and it became this blanket of white, but with these personalized. I was like, "What is this?"
And it trended on Twitter, which means nothing to me, but apparently that's amazing.
That's a good.
It's a great.
Thanks for retweeting us, Magnus. Really appreciate it.
I don't go on Twitter.
Oh, you don't go on Twitter? Last tweet was 2 hours ago.
Right.
It was like, look at this recipe.
Like you actually tweeted while you were live with us 10 minutes ago.
He's like, where am I? So bored.
What a twat.
Somebody stole my Twitter name. Seriously, I had.
There's so many Magnus Hastings
No, that's
around.
what I mean. Meaning, I had it once, and then I got rid of it because I hated Twitter, and then I tried to get it back.
Yeah.
And someone
that's what they do.
And it's like it's some bizarre. I don't know who it is, but they've got 6 followers, and all the pictures is a huge fat guy with a bottle of champagne. Kind of thing.
Somebody's trying to tell you something.
And then I only got a new one because everyone kept tagging this guy. Yeah. It was like, what the fuck? So now I've got 400 or something followers on Twitter. So smash hit, obviously.
I like that you took the name GayFace, which usually has a bad connotation.
Yeah, that was the point.
And turned it around and was like, we all have gay face.
But wanting
gay face
it, but also, wanting it to represent the community. So it was because I specifically wanted to get trans people involved, and it was trying to work out how to make that work because it's about a community. I wanted gay face was very much. I love the idea because it's slightly aggressive and it's slightly going fuck you. This is the face of gay being LGBTQ in 2018. And Courtney Act is in it, obviously. So at the moment we're dealing with publishers and turning it into a book, and I said to her, would you write an essay? Because I want about 20 people to write essays. I don't want everyone to say anything, and I don't want to discuss who's trans and who's gay and who's bi. It just is this community. But she has such a problem with gay face, and she went on and on about it. I went, just call it something else in your head. Write the fucking essay. Call it something else. And she's queer faces. Is what Courtney has, and it's like.
So I did an interview with LA Pride this morning, and we talked about labels, and labels are becoming so destructive to what our message is doing.
Agree, 100%.
Because it's like I understand a label, so I can know where you're from, but I want to know where you're going to, who you are today, and we're so adhering to the labels that we're not hearing everybody else's stories. Bullying within the LGBT community is becoming such an issue. Ageism, sexism, transphobia in our own community. It's like we're trying to do this. Yeah. Everything. Well, you know.
Well, I mean, you should know.
It's the way you say it.
But no. But I'm talking about the bullying. It's just from all ways. And but that's what I loved so much about GayFace. It's like, and then you go down that page and you see all this different faces and colors, and it just.
It's the fun. It doesn't get boring still. I've been doing it since now January, and because I kind of, it's creating the confines of the white box and then creating something new that excites me is like posting the one I did today with Robin climbing up the side.
Well, it's really cool
which
kind
was
of
great.
juxtaposition because you're in a box, but everyone's thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
And it's funny
I'll have that.
because you think it's very loud, and I think it's a statement without it being in your face, because the shots are so beautifully done. You don't know what you're looking at first, and then you're looking at the detail, and then you're looking about how this person's box is different than somebody else's box. But then you're really entranced by it. So no matter what you have a feeling about the person or what they're presenting, you're transfixed by what's happening in the box. That you are making a statement without hitting you over the head with it.
And it has a sense of humor, and also the whole idea is that they work together. So it's the more interesting. It gets more interesting when you put them together and you can change it around.
Yeah, I've seen so many different variations on the web of just like.
But that's the point, and the idea of selling them. So I've kept them. First of all, it's affordable, so people, if they want to own a piece of this art, and then but you can also say choose 6 of them, put them together as I said, they're bolted together like
you can play with it,
physics. So you can have your completely own individual put together.
What speaks to
you have your own like drag Legos.
Completely.
I want you to use that program that puts all these pictures on forms, and I want you to form Trump's face with your gay
Trump's
face.
in one of the pictures.
But I want like them all to be like, you know how you all assemble.
That'll be the gay face.
Yes.
It'll be huge. It'll be huge.
It'll be big. This thing you've ever seen.
I love that idea. That's a good idea.
So in storytelling and life stories, Anton, I want to talk about your different kind of resume. Your internship at the Southwest Center for HIV and AIDS. You worked with individuals affected and infected by the virus. At that same clinic, you worked with trans youth as an outreach mentor. You also had a chance to work in a women's penitentiary to learn about the prison system. This is all your undergraduate stuff.
Yeah, that was like my senior internship. So this would have been, this was
2 years ago, yeah.
So this was 2009. This was 2009.
Wink, wink.
ASU. Yeah, no, no, 2 years ago. No, I don't need to say that yet, but I'll say it like 2 years from now.
My age is scratched off my driver's license. I'm like, Argh.
You're like, you don't need to know.
Yeah, it's like, I'm ageless.
Ageless, absolutely. But yeah, so that was the end of 2009, like the last half of 2009. It was Body Positive, which later became it's still the Southwest Center for HIV and AIDS. And it was an interesting time to be involved with that kind of organization because my bachelor's is women and gender studies. Right. And as much as I loved all of the women's studies classes that I took, my women's studies professor, who's now in charge of the entire department, who I still keep in touch with, is one of the most amazing people I've ever known. I really did it because I wanted to absorb all things gender studies and all things under the LGBT umbrella. And back then, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's changed so much. When I was working at the HIV/AIDS clinic, PrEP didn't exist. At the time I had, I was dealing with people who were in long-term relationships where maybe one was positive and one wasn't, and it was a borderline deal breaker or a deal breaker because there was no way around it.
That's exactly
right. Things have changed a lot since then.
We've gotten comfortable.
And if you ask me, a little bit too comfortable.
You know
that's what I mean, falsely comfortable.
Because I think it's
now having like all these other issues around.
I had a conversation with a young person just recently.
Were you
like very young.
Babysitting?
I was babysitting. And what struck me, it was like, oh my God, this is so unbelievable. It's like they couldn't understand why Pose was important.
Yes.
The television show. And I was like, no, you don't understand. You don't know what it feels like when, where people were dying. Like,
show them Paris is burning.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And they don't get it because now
here's how you show a movie to somebody young. They're like, oh God, that's so great. Okay,
right.
Is this done?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like white post. It's like, I'm like, these people were dying.
Yeah.
And the whole gay sex thing, it's like they just don't get it. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. And that's the thing. I think it's, this is a whole touchy issue that I don't want to get into too much, but these types of drugs they're so unbelievably beneficial in one way, but they undo a lot of the things that our forefathers fought so hard for. They fought for protected sex, and that is the 100% way to protect yourself. Because guess what? Now, especially in Los Angeles and bigger cities, other sexually transmitted infections have skyrocketed.
Right. Because
people
the youth
are falling apart.
Feel that they're
back to what they were in the 70s before HIV happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't kill you.
No. But things have gotten really serious.
It can lead to that.
Well,
they have.
They're mutating so much that they're becoming.
No, they have
stronger and stronger strains.
Well, people are forgetting about everything else. Like people are developing. No, but it's true. This is something that I was this is something that I dealt with, because now you're dealing with things like HPV and syphilis that everyone is like, oh, it comes and goes, there's a medication for it. No, they're causing terminal illnesses. They're causing cancer. People are not testing for these types of things. They go do a panel and they go do like gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, HIV. Okay, I'm good. No, there are other things that could be burrowing in your body because you've stopped protecting yourself.
And not to mention that HIV travels on syphilis and travels on many of these diseases. So once you get that, and you could test positive. People don't know this thing.
And I am, you know, I am absolutely. What is so funny?
I'm pretending to block my ears because I don't want to know, because I hate safe sex.
Oh well. And here's the problem.
I
know. All I'm saying is that, you know, the things that I learned in college and the things that I saw. This isn't just the gay community. I mean, the 70% of the clinic was females who were infected with HIV and AIDS, who were dealing with, like, people don't really talk about those kinds of things. And the trans youth, I'm talking as young as like 13, who are infected, because the only way that they can, you know, the only way, and unfortunately for a lot of them, the only way they can survive is by soliciting sex or by doing things like that. Now times have really started to change.
Or to feel affection on some level.
I mean, you could still be very much discriminated against. I'm not saying we live in some kind of perfect society, especially right now, but, you know, things have changed. Like, people are finding other ways, like, oh, I don't have to do this to validate myself or to make money or to survive. Like, I could get a legitimate job. I could go to school. I mean, my advisor at Southwest Center for HIV and AIDS was a trans woman who's now head of the department. You know, it's an incredible thing. So
I have to tell you something cute. This last week, my mom was like, "Hey, do you have a condom in your wallet?"
Oh, did she see your room?
Do you know how many years? I'm like,
did she look at your room in New York? Your room in New York was like a balloon fiesta.
Oh,
it was my quinceañera. What can I say?
Quinceañera.
Quinceañero.
No, quinceañera. No.
Right. Okay.
But it was so cute that, like, now we're having this talk. She's like, "Do you have a condom?" And like, she lowered her voice, like, "Yes, Ma.
Yeah.
Your son's getting it on."
Yeah, Mama Rose, he's good. He's okay.
But Anton, I wanted to talk to you about, because you've been in the reality TV world,
yes.
Especially now, you know, with a really fun show, which we're going to take a look at a clip. But then you've dealt with this reality in real life. Your job is to make things look more beautiful and to kind of put a polish on things. I wanted to talk about the duality that you have in your life, where you have seen the reality, but your job is to kind of cover things up and make things pretty. How does that affect your skill, and how do you approach your art with that knowledge?
That's really interesting, the way you put that. And honestly, I was originally wanting to do outreach in the community, but the entire time that I was in college, I was working at Mac since I was 19 years old. That was my college job, and then eventually I started to freelance, and it kind of took over. And I still do things here and there, like, that are community-based. But one thing that I've always taken very seriously with makeup artistry is, like, yeah, I'm putting makeup on people, I'm making them look pretty for an event or for an interview or for whatever. But the thing about it is it's a state of mind, really, because we all have our insecurities. And no one suffers more from insecurities than people who are under a microscope, like actors. It's just the way it is. I mean, when you're constantly being photographed or you're constantly on a red carpet and people are constantly talking crap about you, it's like I could go to Starbucks looking like garbage and no one's going to recognize me. You know, an actor who's really famous can't necessarily do that. So for me, one thing is when one of my clients says, "Oh my God, I feel beautiful." They said feel, not look. So that's really the gift for me, is like I gave them like that confidence. So yeah, I made them look hot, don't get me wrong. But
it's in here.
It's in here. Because if they don't, I could do the best beat on someone, they can have the best hair, they could have $1 million gown, and if they don't feel it, forget about it. But it's when they feel it.
Well, it's funny you said that comment, because we did have an email. You always seem that you're on point. Are you ever able to leave the house looking like crap? That's one of the questions that we got. That's so funny.
I mean, occasionally, yeah. I try not to. I mean, we don't really like to do that, because I don't like to catch a reflection of myself like, oh my God,
but
like really.
It's even harder though if you live in West Hollywood. Like,
it's ridiculous.
I just want to go to the grocery store, but then you see like 8 people on the way there, and you know everyone.
That's why I'm like, Ralphs.com delivers.
Oh my God, no, Ralph's. Like I go to,
I literally don't have to leave my house if I don't.
I go to Ralph's on Sunset.
Like shit on
no, but that's the thing, is I go to Ralph's on Sunset, like, you know, and I run into like 5 people, and I'm like, really? like my underwear is on the outside of my shorts. Like I can't even
Come on,
feel.
Captain Underpants.
Yeah, Pixar didn't have it.
I'm saying, yeah, but yeah, I mean, we try not to, right? But I got dressed up for you guys. So
Thank you.
I went to the barber and everything. I was like, oh shoot, there's video.
I know, I saw that like today. There's video.
Yes, radio has.
He's like, I got here and I saw camera.
I can't even tell you. I had to send Magnus a telegraph just for him to
Smoke
respond.
signal.
I
Smoke
messaged
signal.
him on
There's a
Facebook,
pigeon
on
carrier.
Instagram.
Did you
via
get it? Was in
email,
junk.
via tweet.
It went.
The pigeon didn't make it.
That's a lie because I responded to an email you sent me. It does not go to
No, it
junk,
did go
my
into
friend.
junk. I swear to God, it went to junk. Because I went back and looked for it.
Because he was like, John.
See, luckily he's always.
Is he coming to the show or not?
No,
Show me the receipt.
I swear to God, it went to junk, and I'm not a liar. That's my.
I literally on every platform I could think of. I'm
No,
like, does he have a MySpace?
Oh my God,
I do
Friendster.
still.
Friendster.
No.
Yes.
Friendster,
Oh my
Magnus
God.
Hastings. Yeah, no, it's luckily
Also,
you're.
I was
Luckily you're.
working. I didn't check my email.
Well, luckily you're
when
always
Well, I know
flawless.
what you were doing.
I'm all wet.
Crickets. That was
That's a
crickets.
whole other story.
That was like.
Whole other story.
It's actually a very funny story.
God, we all went there.
Yes.
Well, we did.
Well,
Because
all the
hello,
silence.
Steven and I
Poor
can
Kurt
make
is
these
like,
jokes.
can I
We've
go
known
home
each
to my
other
wife?
forever.
Yeah, did you know? Yeah,
Actually, sidebar, yeah.
We worked since like. back in,
Yeah,
like, the
since
Andrew
like I
Christian-
moved to LA, one of my
ages
first
ago.
full-time jobs as a makeup artist, I was a groomer for Andrew Christian.
And that was like one
So
of my first
we've known
gigs.
each other forever. That was one of the first places he modeled. So, and let me tell you, it's just. It's not as glamorous as you may think. They tortured us.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever thinks it's glamorous in the first place.
Well, I think that people think like, oh my God, how fun! You're surrounded by all these like guys in their
but
underwear.
it's-
I'm like, no, it's a nightmare.
it's
like
hard work.
It's hard work. I'm
And they're
like,
smelly, and you have to pat them.
they generally smelled good, for the most part. But
You said you smelled them?
well, I'm
That's
this
what I'm
close.
thinking.
Like
I'm
I'm
listening to
gonna.
that.
You're up in the face.
I mean, I can smell Magnus right now. He
Oh
smells
no,
great.
I did shower.
No, you smell great.
It's like
Got all insecure.
Jim Beam and
I
like
did. I ran out of body wash.
and like
for
English
summer.
You
sausages
smell like vodka and like and
Vodka
and
nuts.
Lalabo.
and regret. He's like, who was that last night? Same sex. What? He's sweating. When you started talking about that, he literally started sweating. He was like, such a pleasure to be here.
I was gonna say you smelled good and you jumped in. Like.
Anyway, I want to talk about Beauty School Knockout.
Okay.
It's such a fun show, and again, I'm going to reiterate, I love the contestants you have.
Yeah.
Because it's not like such a polished show where everybody looks amazing the minute they walk in. Talk to us a little bit about what the show is about and what a viewer can expect. And we're going to take a little peek. Now you're playing bartender.
Let me pass this glass really quick.
So,
Beauty School Knockout is created by a company called Kin Community. They're incredible. I met them working with Tia Mowry on her YouTube or her Facebook Watch show now called Tia Mowry's Quick Fix, and I actually did some on-camera tutorials with her. And then I wound up working on this project, and it's incredible because with the digital platforms, like you said, with the contestants, like there's two different people every week because with a digital show, you're going to discover it at some kind of random moment. You're not going to necessarily watch it from the beginning, so you can't go in like on episode 6 and have like 6 people have already been eliminated. So you can watch it wherever you find it.
And that's what I love, and that's what I'm learning about the digital world, and I'm learning a lot from this guy over here. The attention span is getting. You have to tell your story so quickly.
Yeah.
Like in a photograph, it has to be there. It has to be tangible. It has to be clickable. You have to be able to enjoy it and then click off. Yeah, go.
He's barred.
Yeah,
but
I really love
right.
that because you get. But what you guys do such a good job is that you feel like they're your friends. You get to know them and. You are encapsulated by this episode.
Exactly. And the episodes are pretty short. I mean, they're about like 12 to 15 minutes roughly. But basically the concept of the show is that Vanessa Lachey is the host. She is a
gorgeous
pro. She's gorgeous, absolutely.
You guys have so much fun, by the way.
She's amazing. She is so good at what she does. And, I'm her guest judge, which is super fun. So we get to have like a fun little banter, which we totally do. I mean, I'm obsessed with her. I'm not even going to lie. But we have 2 contestants come in and they get a mystery bag of random things. It's like cake decorations and Play-Doh and stencils and all this random stuff. And then there's a bunch of makeup, like actual makeup that's provided to them. And they have to create a look in 30 minutes based on the theme that we give them. So tomorrow's episode, for example, it goes live at 10 a.m. is street art. Is the theme, to kind of give a little spoiler because they said I could. So they have to create a makeup look with their interpretation of street art. So it's really, really fun because you know, it's interesting with this mystery bag because there's all kinds of stuff in there, and the rules weren't super clear at first. But then, you know, we started to clarify, and we're like, we want them to use as much as possible, but I want to see like skill and execution. Like if you just shove a bunch of stuff on your face, doesn't mean you're gonna win.
Right.
I want to see the execution, and some of these looks have been like editorial runway.
Yep.
Alexander McQueen like blew my mind, and like halfway through, I'm not really seeing anything, and then all of a sudden, it turns into this like masterpiece, and I'm like, well, I want her to do my makeup for Halloween, for my wedding, you know, all of it.
Are you getting married?
No. But I'm just saying.
The question I got is, who you're dating?
I'm dating someone for a long time, like 2.5 years now.
Promise me that you guys
not dating. I mean, he's you're in a
relationship. I think at that
it's the
point,
situation.
Right?
Yeah,
it's a situation.
It's a thing. Yeah,
Promise me
he's pretty amazing.
that you guys will come do this with us on Glitter Bomb season 2. Like you just have to.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. All right, let's take a peek at Beauty School Knockout.
I'm Vanessa Lachey, and this is Beauty School Knockout. It's a makeup competition. They have 30 minutes. Each episode has a theme. The 80s, emojis, superhero, galactic. Say hello to my judge, Anton Khachaturian. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Makeup professionals, moms, influencers, creators, and artists compete to win the golden lipstick. There's makeup and a bag full of surprises, which are not necessarily makeup. Use the stuff in the bag to create the look. It's harder than it looks. What is happening? Oh my God, what did I do? Just saying, no pressure but pressure.
I'm here for you, to comfort you.
Keep talking to that mirror.
Oh my God.
Brushes down, time's up. It's a knockout.
I love it. And so now I want to play a little sample of one of your tutorials just to see a little sample of what you do.
Oh my gosh,
on
what did you guys find? Oh, this is an old one. It's cute though. No, it's good.
Cute.
That's my house.
That is your... Can I come over?
Yeah.
Game night!
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Kurt, let's see a little bit of...
With the liquid liner, it's much easier to follow the line, and it looks a lot cleaner. You don't have that space in between the liner and your lashes. So my favorite product is the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner. This is the product I've been using for years. As soon as I discovered it, it was over. That was it. So go ahead and tilt your head up and look down for me. Just lay the brush down on its side to kind of build the line.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Draw
so
a line, because then you risk it skipping, and it's just a little bit more difficult that way. So I'm actually just pressing, and I'm lifting up the lid a little bit just to get that liner as close to the lash line as possible. And then I'm going to press, tilt your head this way. I'm going to press.
I always get lost in makeup tutorial videos.
Yeah, it's so funny that you guys found this one because it was an old school one. It cracks me up.
Like, I'll just watch makeup tutorials and I'll be like, just watching it for like an hour. Just like,
it's still, I mean, I'm like, God, it's still actually pretty good. I'm still actually representing some information.
Here's the comments I got from email versus you. In fact, I was told about this this video because I didn't find this on my own. Somebody brought it to my attention. What 2 people commented was that they love your style because you don't have to do the $600 products.
Yes.
You do affordable products.
I try.
You show it in a relatable way. Like you don't have the magic wand where it's all done and it's perfect and you talk like this. You were literally doing her makeup in reality.
I literally
and you're describing it like it's not just one easy like you have to work at it. And so what the comments were is that your style is so accessible for everyday makeup, but the looks are not. They're more than just everyday.
Can I ask you a question? Because why are makeup tutorials such a huge hit on the internet?
You know what? I think a lot of that happened with the social media movement because makeup just became this like, it was always a thing, but then it became this like worldwide addiction. But it also turned into something that you don't necessarily have to be like a working industry makeup artist to do a tutorial. And that's where a lot of the influencers started to kind of come in, which is fine. I mean, I think it's great and more power to the business. I think, you know, it's just a lot of the people that you may see doing the influencer style aren't necessarily doing like red carpet work and things like that like I'm doing. So it's a little bit of a push pull. Whenever the TV opportunities and the YouTube opportunities, and now this opportunity with Kin Community, which was really fun because I didn't actually have to do makeup. I just got to like hang out and judge people and, you know, dress cute. That was really like, and it was really fun because doing makeup and talking and all of that, it's a lot to think about. So whenever those opportunities would present themselves, it would be more of a secondary sort of like, oh my God, I'm totally down to do this, but first and foremost, I'm a makeup artist.
You know, this week is a bunch of firsts. Like it's our first show, and my mind to you guys is so entranced by your resume. Is what was the first like for you, Magnus? I want to talk about your very first show. Your photography is up on the walls. How did the showing come to be? How did you plan that showing? And what was your energy like opening night?
My first show. So I was an actor, and I
failed actor.
No, I wasn't actually. I was in the West End in a show, and I kind of made it to the West End, and I was miserable and bored, and I went, and I was seriously, I'm 6'4", I was too tall. It was, I go into castings and they go, you're tall. I go, yeah, did you read my CV? It's like, so anyway, but then I changed careers, and I literally had, there was like the only gay bar in town that had like was the legitimate place to show art. And I went in and said, "Can I have a show? Can I have a show?" And I showed them a couple of pictures, and they went, "Yeah." So I did so bizarrely, and it was kind of a clever idea, I guess, in hindsight. So I shot in every like gay community, they're the gay celebrities that everyone knows. So I basically had a celebrity show. I shot the people who were the famous people in Soho in London, in my way, and I blew them up so they were massive, pressed onto PVC things, but no one had ever seen my work before, and I put it up, and I remember putting it up and going, I like it, but fuck knows if anyone else is going to like it. It was terrifying, and then the next day it went up, and everyone went crazy for it, and that's when I got picked up by magazines. I mean, it literally went crazy, and I sold everything, and it was kind of amazing because but it's also what I knew. I mean, I taught myself photography because my dad was a semi-professional photographer. So it's like, why did I go to drama school apart from loving it? It's like it's what I should be doing. Mm-hmm. But it was and it made sense, and But so that was it was an amazing first show.
Now, the first time that you had one of your pictures on the cover of a magazine, do you remember what magazine it was? Did you go out and buy like 10 of them?
I did. So in London at the time, everyone was about straight acting, right? So I did. So my first.
I've seen a few movies. Yes.
No. But it was. So my first cover, I got a guy and I made him suck a banana because I was thinking 70s female images. So he was sucking a banana, but I put him in a sea of bananas, and he was really hot. So it was girly, but he wasn't particularly girly. Mm. But the main point was, so I did this thing with bananas. And then I was in the real kind of bruiser bar, and I watched somebody pick up the magazine, look at it, and throw it across the room with hatred. Mm. And I thought, yes, that's what I want.
Exactly,
because it pissed people off, and it was, because at the time, and things changed. And then I was the first person in London to start shoving drag queens back onto the cover of things, and making camp, because it's part of our fucking community. So it was, what's the problem? And at the time, everyone was so worried.
Why drag?
Fuck off.
He was just mad because he wanted to float.
I'm drunk. I'm rambling. Leave me alone.
I wanted to be that banana. Now, Magnus, working with drag queens, they come in. They come in all made up with their attitude, but as a photo shoot wears on, you have to your facade breaks down because you're tired and you're doing different shots, and you get to see drag queens for who they really are. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that the public has about drag queens that you've been able to see from your experience behind the scenes?
Oh, God. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if you're a photographer, if you're stupid, you start being rude to your photographer, because I'm in control of your image. Yes. And as I said, my final book should be, what was it? It's going to be basically all the really worst shots of every famous drag queen,
and then
where they all like absolute
like
shit, and that would I'll die, and that'll sell out.
I haven't seen that.
Shit.
I'm I've already pre-ordered it from Amazon.
Right? Isn't it the most fun book? Yeah. I mean, I have Courtney looking so rough you wouldn't believe it's that.
You should have your estate release it 1 month after you go.
Yeah, but because I want to enjoy it, so maybe 2 months.
Then fake your own death.
and then images will just like go through like a PowerPoint during your funeral.
Yeah. And then you could like Photoshop the tuck and make it really like needy. Be like, that was a bad angle.
Or not needy. No tuck needed.
Because meaty tucks is, what's it called? The poop, what's
fupa?
Fupa.
Sorry, Mom. Now, Anton, I want to talk about the first time that you saw one of your looks on the front page of a magazine or on TV.
Oh,
and,
that's a good one.
And
for
like,
me.
how did that make you feel? And who was the first person you called? Like,
well, the first celebrity that ever hired me when I was 19 was Christine W. If we know who Christine W. is. She's a dance artist. Come on, guys.
No,
somebody.
Give me a clue.
So
you don't know Nevaeh? I don't know Christine W.
So maybe that makes it all the difference.
Well, basically, she's one of those voices that you hear in a lot of dance music, but you might not necessarily put a face to it.
Okay.
But she's a big artist in the gay community. She does a lot of prides, all that kind of stuff. So and she's old school. She's been around forever. But I had sent a message to her MySpace account. This is when I was like 19 or 20.
How old are you?
I'm
MySpace?
33.
Did they have that when you were?
Come on,
Yeah.
we were on MySpace.
that you don't have a
I
MySpace.
never had. I didn't even know.
Don't even play it.
I did not have a MySpace.
Alexander is actually like 75.
I have a MySpace.
I love.
Still
Okay,
on Friendster.
He's like, I'm 90.
In my days, we used pigeons to send messages.
We all get to send our birth, whatever, like the information for the traveling.
Yeah.
Stop it. No.
Yeah. No. So exactly.
And he's the only one who didn't. So like that's the mystery of like.
Wagon wheel.
I'm talking about your age.
On Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard
There's
Time.
going to be a death.
Some
yeah.
mice take a little bit longer to find the cheese, just a little bit longer.
Anyway.
What were we talking about? Oh, so basically, so just to put into perspective, she's like an Amber or a Deborah Cox or one of those kinds of artists, and we ended up doing a Pride after party, and I'll never forget my call time was 11:30 p.m. and I was like, I really don't understand, because she was performing at after hours. So like I get there and there's shirtless men everywhere and I'm 19, and of course I've seen all of this in perspective, but not quite in that capacity where I'm backstage, and it was just really, really interesting. But we ended up doing a shoot a few weeks later, and it ended up being her album artwork and all that kind of stuff, and it was an internationally released album. So that was really, really cool, because at that, honestly, I was a big fan. I mean, I still talk to her all the time, but I was a really big fan of her music. And as like a teenager, it might as well have been a Madonna's tour manager that emailed me back the night before. So at that point, it was like
an affirmation, like
this is palpable. I can do this, and I still, I'll never forget that.
Now, I want to talk to you both about oversaturation with filters on our phones, with portraits on iPhone X's, which I use all the time, and Anton, with everybody being able to do a makeup tutorial as long as they have a smartphone and have a YouTube account. Is oversaturation a problem in the industry for both of you when there's so much content? How do you keep your voice from? How do you keep your voice being heard? And how do you make it distinctive from all of this content out there?
You want to go first?
No, you go.
Okay. Well, the filters and all of that, it's really interesting. I mean, for makeup artistry specifically, like I will never use a filter on a photo that I put on Instagram. I might edit the lighting a little bit, because sometimes red carpets can be dark or the lighting could be weird. I might change the contrast
or it's a behind the scenes shot.
Exactly. And I'm gonna like do little things to make it prettier, but I'm not gonna change. Like you see this filter and people are like,
it changes the entire color.
well, yeah. And like I see a comment that someone leaves for someone and they're like, oh my god, that skin, and I'm like, that's Valencia. Is that skin? Like, get out of here. Like, are you kidding me?
Is it XX Pro or Valencia?
XX Pro or Valencia. I want to look tan. Totally. But
it's George Hamilton.
No, 100%. But you know what? If I get booked based on a picture that I filtered, and then I go to this client and I can't do the job, and they're like, this guy sucks.
You're like, hold on, let me just take that filter again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to keep it with it. It has to be, and that's the thing, is the filters aren't really, they're not real. I mean, they're filters, but I love me some portrait mode because it pops the color and it makes everything look really pretty. And sometimes you take a picture with your phone and it looks way worse than in real life. And it's like, oh, this is too dark or too this. So I think that's all fine, but the thing about the blogger generation, and this isn't everybody, but a lot of the filters and the really, really, really intense makeup looks, like you see the crazy contouring and the just the painted faces, that's all fine, and it's a trend, and it's great, but that's not really how we do makeup in the business. You're never going to see that face
it's like
on
stylistic.
Yeah, you're never going to see that face on the Oscars red carpet. ever. Like that painted brow.
Well,
like you're just not
maybe
gonna see that.
if A Star Is Born is nominated, and Willow and Shangela show up.
You know it.
Yeah. But that's also a niche of like a
Drag
certain
queens.
type of person. Yeah, which I think is great. But then you're seeing like these queens, like on Vogue.com, like you're seeing like, you know, you're seeing them do their makeup and go through their process, and that recognition is starting to happen, which I think is so cool because people are so blown away by the artistry. Makeup is really getting that recognition. So,
but in terms of like YouTube oversaturation,
Oh,
with, like
YouTube
everybody
oversaturation.
has like, here's how you do the cat eye, like
Yeah.
with all of that, and then your tutorial,
Yeah.
like how do you keep your voice heard?
I mean, it's just individual style. I mean, essentially, like, someone might ask me, like, oh, let me have your beauty breakdown, and some artists are really like, oh, I don't want to share the information. I'm happy to share, like, what kind of products I use, because no one's going to do it exactly how I did.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, like, I'm, you know, God's gift to makeup artistry. I'm just saying that, like, you're not going to be able to do it the way I did it. That's just the way it
But
is.
it's like
So
they can go away and try and do it themselves,
Yes.
and then they'll come back to you because they realize it's not that fucking easy.
Exactly,
That's the point.
exactly. And like, you know, I was putting makeup on somebody else, like you were saying, like I'm actually doing the makeup in real time. You know, 9 times out of 10 with these tutorials, they're putting the makeup on themselves.
Yeah.
So
And that's a whole different
It's
thing.
a whole different thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
because
a
you
good point.
can't really do somebody else's makeup. Some can because they're
Like
good
I can
makeup
tie my own
artists.
tie blindfolded. I couldn't tie a tie on somebody else.
It's
just-
exactly that. And when they do it, it's literally that same face that's like on every single person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Like I remember at MAC when they used to do like the makeup on paper, they looked like the girls that did the like it looked like their face on the paper. It freaked me out.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Westworld.
But it's like when they would do the looks for the collections and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But that's exactly what it is. Like you're putting
Yeah.
your face on somebody else, essentially.
Now, Magnus, how do you deal with oversaturation? Now everybody's a model, everybody's a photographer on Instagram with filters, and it's a little bit different than what Anton does.
I mean, the filter thing, weirdly, when I get the only time I get annoyed when people repost my shit and then they stick a filter on it. I'm like, I didn't spend 8 hours doing this picture for you to suddenly, especially with the box pictures, because they stick a filter on it and it washes all the edges of the box out. So
Yeah.
it's because they feel like it's their own personal identity sticking a filter on. So they feel like they're personally invested in this picture, or they crop it, which is even worse than a filter.
Especially for a photographer.
Don't. But they
Well,
crop.
you know what I find? Only thing I do find annoying sometimes is when a photographer sends you an image that can't be posted without it being.
Oh no!
cut.
No, I get that, but my box pictures
Oh, yeah.
are my box pictures.
yeah.
So
And
why
those
would
are
you crop
and those are
that?
perfectly square anyway.
They're perfectly square,
Yeah.
and their whole thing is
They're very Instagram family, yes.
That was
Yeah,
the
they're
point.
very
No,
Instagram
I get
family, for
when other people crop into. It's like I've had people trying to crop into them, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
in
Well,
terms
yeah,
of with that picture. Obviously, with other stuff, of course, I crop into stuff all the time, but also that's. Unless you've sold the picture to someone, don't fucking crop me.
It's not their
That's
image. It's
yeah,
your image.
it's
Yeah.
mine.
Well, and
but the I mean, the filter thing. It's I mean initially because everyone thinks they're a photographer, but as I was just saying before to Anton, it's. Then they will try and do it, and then they come back to you and realize that taking a picture that's going through your phone and finding a picture that's amazing and then putting a filter on it, that's not actually the reality of photography. If you want to go out and take a picture of someone, it doesn't work like that because you have no idea of how to actually manipulate the light. It just happens to be
it's
lucky.
not going to get you a cover of a major magazine.
No.
All right, we're going to wrap up. We are going to wrap up with our pop culture week in review. We're all going to contribute our opinions, and then we're going to go around and tell our viewers where they can find you. Mr. Stephen Dehler, Kurt, if you please, let's take it away.
This is your opportunity to get refill your drinks.
My drink's so full. He's gone silent. Enrique's literally silent.
I'm about to go rub his temples.
Your daily dose of Dehler with your host, Stephen Dehler, bringing us the latest dish in pop culture. Take it away, Stephen. I'll be in the corner drinking.
Literally.
Yeah, like he literally is in the corner pouring himself a drink right now.
All right, who's up on the chopping block today?
All right, so first on my list, I'm not actually using her for the shade of the week for once, because I always use her for shade of the week because she's always a little bit shady.
She's so
but
shadeable.
even in this is in itself a little bit shady. But Mariah Carey releases it's not her debut single for her album. It's just sort of like an introduction.
But she has
to
a
her
new
next
album?
Yeah, her it's not yet it's untitled right now.
It's probably unfunded at this point.
It's her 15th album. It's due out later this year. This is called GTFO, which if you are privy to social
Ghetto.
media lingo. Get the out.
That's what her audiences did in Vegas. They got the F out.
Oh,
It's
damn.
had a lot of I've seen mixed reviews on it, but it definitely in and of itself, the clip of her saying "How about you, GTFO," like has made the biggest meme right now on social media.
Her
Like,
life is a meme at this point.
You know, I guess if that's the way to get exposure, I guess if she's working it.
Are we excited about new release
No.
from Mariah? Are we over Mariah?
I've seen some people who are just like they love it, and then I see other people being like, "Why is Mariah Carey?"
She has a steady block of an audience that will always follow her, die with her.
Then why isn't she selling her? They literally couldn't give her tickets away in Vegas, and that's the fact. They were giving them away, and nobody wanted them.
Well, you know, she spent a lot of time being very, very like lazy and like when during her shows.
Remember that one clip you
when
shared?
Like, she's like,
pick me up.
She's literally being carried.
That's how Enrique was at the set on Glitter Bomb. They're like, can I be carried to the stage?
Like, hold this microphone.
The whistling really. That was the trip.
Whistling?
When she was the New Year's show or
Well,
something.
yeah, that was like 2 years ago. But there's a really funny video of like when she's getting like carried around and someone dubs over it like what she probably sounded like it's like here, take my microphone. But I think I don't know.
Well, she's still trying.
Hey, she's still popping them out.
It'd be like if Carol Channing was like, "I'm going to be on Playboy next month."
Hey, she's on her 15th album.
I'd buy that.
Her next, so her first official.
You probably photograph it.
I would buy that.
Oh, I would photograph it.
Record.
Okay, next.
So her, not yet.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. Her first official single, which will be preceded after this, is called "With You," which is slated for an October 5th release. So,
what happened to her cartoon movie of her Christmas
that
song?
was released last year and no one gave.
Sorry, Mariah. Just take a break.
Yeah, the cartoon was released last year.
Go to Palm Springs, Mariah. You'll be great out there.
Yeah, we'll see you November 12th. What is it?
I think she's really talented.
She is talented. I just don't think. I think that
but she got lazy. You cannot get lazy in your industry. You cannot.
And I would say it's just not the right people
much.
around her, but I think it's Mariah. She's going to do whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Yeah, well, that is. Yeah, okay.
All right, so next on our list is A Star is Born. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. It's been getting amazing reviews.
It has been.
Right now, as of this article that with me right now, it's at 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So the whole story is about a seasoned musician, Jackson Maine, which is Bradley Cooper. He discovers and falls in love with a struggling artist.
It's a
Allie.
third remake.
Yeah.
That's
Fourth.
right.
And a third
Colbert.
remake, fourth version.
And I don't know if
Claudette
it
Colbert
was
did
it
it.
EW or something that said like watch out for Lady Gaga because she might like really like still.
She'll probably win an Oscar.
She'll probably win an Oscar.
She'll at least,
that's what the early
she'll at
reviews
least
are
get
saying.
nominated. But I mean, depending on who she's up against, they might not
But
get
here's my
anywhere.
thing. You take any star, wipe off their makeup, and have them talk quiet.
No,
and be
exactly.
sad.
Have them
Give
cry
them
and
an award.
yeah.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
I mean,
is she
I don't
really
know.
that great?
We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. I'm
Did you see
dying to
American
see.
Horror Story Golden Globe?
Yeah, that was
winner.
That was
I just remember Jessica Lange going.
okay. You know what?
When she was cast.
American Horror Story shade.
Well,
That's the next season.
It's true though, right? She went.
No, but you know what?
I think that she might prove us wrong. I mean,
Guys, come on, like,
I bet she's going to be good in it.
I mean, she's going to be great.
Guys,
but she's
also,
I'm really excited that we have Willem and Shangela in it.
The ghost. We literally have a ghost.
That's really exciting.
We have a ghost in the studio that when the ghost gets upset, I'm not even
It was a ghost of Willem, don't you slag
Well, I mean, my
it's B. Arthur, actually.
Oh my God, B. Arthur.
Well, Bianca died.
B. Arthur, they filmed Golden Girls.
Well, clearly, the spirit of Joanne is in this room
Yes.
because she just turned off our lighting right now.
I think she's going to be really good, though.
I think she's going to be
I'm gonna
brilliant.
say this role was designed for her.
And did you hear about
It
this?
was designed for Judy Garland, and it was designed for.
By the way,
Barbara
I mean,
Streisand.
She's being perfectly inserted into
perfect.
this.
Yeah.
Versace just stole all the freaking awards at the Emmy.
Everything.
Who did?
Versace.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And it was a good show. It wasn't the best show. Acting was pretty good. Darren Criss, I think, deserved it. But here's my thing. What we're doing with Hollywood is we're so thankful if an actor can get up and say their lines and cry on cue and maybe croak out a tune. When in the old days, Hollywood, as an actor, you had to sing, you had to dance, you had to act, you had to do everything.
Well, isn't that what Gaga kind of is?
That's what I'm saying. We have to see, yeah. But just because they wiped off her makeup and it's Gaga, like you've never seen her before.
Well, listen, she's wiped off her makeup before. I don't really believe that.
Guess what your job is
She's
in
the
acting?
new Shirley
is to
MacLaine.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
You know,
that's what I go.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's good at everything.
I'm rooting for her, but only
I'm gonna watch it like this.
I'm rooting for her, but also
okay, that was good.
The thing is that everyone really wants that raw, Gaga back, and everyone's very scared that if she wins this award or she's gonna start taking herself too seriously.
But she's changed. It's 10 years ago, though.
Yeah.
She's not doing that anymore.
Well, she kind of. I mean, some of the images that she was released recently about her, upcoming album. Yeah, she's getting back into that.
But she did a Tony Bennett album. I mean, come on.
That was 10 years ago as well.
Well, that was like I mean,
have you heard his new album? Moses sings your favorite commandment hits.
Oh my God!
Sorry.
All right, so let me move on to our next subject.
He had a MySpace.
This next subject is a very.
He has a tomb space.
Oh God,
damn!
This next subject is a very sore subject for me because my all-time favorite Superman, Henry Cavill. Allegedly, it hasn't really completely been confirmed yet, but apparently
he's gay.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
But he walk out?
That he's left the role of Superman due to the scheduling conflicts and the fact that the studio DC they're switching around so many different things because they're trying to revamp their whole direction that they're going with their
There's
movie lineup.
There's a lot of change, a lot of hiccups.
Change.
Guardians of the Galaxy may not happen, by the way.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy is not even DC. That's Marvel. That's a whole different.
But that's what's happening to the whole because they do these A-listers that have a brief period of time to film.
Guardians
the
of the Galaxy is a
completely
Guardians of the Galaxy is a completely different story. That has to do with the whole thing with James Gunn getting this issue of 10
right, but
years
they have
ago.
to move the shooting schedule, and so if you do that, even in this world, if you move a month, the A-lister's not available because they're doing.
But wasn't Henry Cavill's Superman like the one that was really boring and a copy of Christopher Reeve?
No, that was Bryan Singer's Superman. That was over 12 years ago or something like that. But
when my MySpace was
when your MySpace was
that's gonna run and run.
Yeah, that was Bryan Singer's thing. No, Henry Cavill, he's been the Superman for the last 4 movies, but
he can be. He is.
He could be Superman for life. He is the most beautiful Superman.
Yeah,
but the thing is, so now, but he left a cryptic message on Instagram. It's just a video of him holding up a Superman doll and then bringing it back down. No one has any idea what that means.
So here's what I've heard from people that are involved. It was a publicity ploy. He's still going to be Superman, and it was all for publicity.
Thank God, because that is the best publicity stunt. Because I mean, who does not want him? He's literally the epitome.
He
of
is Superman. He's handsome, but he's charming, but he's also nice and accessible.
Wait, and when did Superman become so much younger than Batman? Batman is
because
that's a funny point. Batman is getting so old.
That is an interesting point, but the thing is,
Ben Affleck should not
Jimmy
be
Stewart
Batman.
as Batman.
The way with comic books is that you can get away with anything because they have this whole multiverse theory. So with the multiverse theories, they're able to adjust and change anything they like within the universe. However they like.
But movie-wise, they're making it very right. Batman is getting much older.
But what they're going to do is they're going to change that with the multiverse theory, which obviously Ben Affleck has said that he's not going to be doing Batman for much longer.
Batman can get insured.
He's not doing Batman at all because they don't want him to be Batman.
Well, they're going to have someone else come in and do Batman, but what they're going to do is probably using some sort of multiverse flashpoint storyline where Batman will be pulled in from another universe and it'll be a different character.
That's such a cheap trick.
But the first 3 the Tim Burton Batmans, they changed the actors.
Who knew we were so vehement about Batman?
But also Ben Affleck
you watch
has
superhero films, don't you?
Huh?
Let's hear from a straight man's perspective.
Yeah, I watch superhero films.
Thanks for that informative.
That was a great contribution.
That's what we needed.
Yeah. But wait.
Well, to add to it though, let's just say as if Henry Cavill is removing himself. The rumors right now is that they might want Michael B. Jordan to play Superman instead. Michael B. Jordan, as you know, played Killmonger in Black Panther.
He was the only reason I watched Black Panther, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait for his spinoff film.
And then Colton Haynes said on Twitter that he would love to see a openly gay actor play Superman, such as Matt Bomer, which. I could see that kind of, but
which will never happen.
No, it won't.
See, but that's just forcing an issue at this point.
But also,
we know who Superman is from the comic books.
It would be great, but then it's just no. If they're openly gay, it's just not going to happen because people aren't going to risk
Well,
losing
Flash.
money.
Flash is openly queer.
Yeah.
What? But did he do it before he was on the show? Was he openly gay, or did he come out after the event?
I think I don't remember.
I mean, he's already in spandex. Like, I mean, how much farther?
But he also said that he's queer too, which is
queer means nothing. It means that I fooled around. I sucked a dick once.
No, he literally is. I think he is full on gay. He just is saying
Apology
queer.
to our sponsors.
He like made out. Didn't he make out with the guy at Comic-Con?
We've all made out with guys and girls.
No, like
and
on
in-betweeners.
Whatever. Anyway.
Wait, the thing about it was like I thought Ben Affleck is uninsurable. Like they can't do insurance for him.
You know, it all comes back to Geely.
Oh, because he's.
He's never gonna get over that.
Here's what I love about the Superman news. All of a sudden, Nicolas Cage released a press release about how he thought Superman should go, and he thought they should go much younger. Then he praised Cavill for his performance. I'm like, Nicholas, you didn't get to play Superman. Get over it.
I know.
Shut
We're gonna have to see those horrible photos with him with the long hair.
Long hair.
Yeah,
long hair.
It's so bad.
I'm
werewolf.
Superman.
He was Superman.
All right.
Next,
but you know what, Enrique? That is a very interesting point that Batman has been getting older and older.
Well, yeah, but and again.
Well, you know why? Because people are so over the origin story. We've had Batman origin story how many times over the time? So they wanted to have a seasoned like Batman that has already been established.
And who's going to play Catwoman? Betty White?
That's my
Betty
thing
White.
about
Yes, I think she should.
Betty White
Betty White is Catwoman.
She's helping the original Batman.
No, it's Batgirl.
I vote for Angelina Jolie. Personally,
she's too busy being Maleficent. Oh yeah, but
she would be perfectly age
Kurt, please play
appropriate.
this. This looks. I don't even. This looks like one of those living doll documentaries.
Yeah, we're about to put up a photo of Nicolas Cage as Superman.
I'm Nicolas Cage.
Are you sure he's being Superman or Supergirl? We don't know, but
it's superlicious.
Good.
Thank you. Yeah. Nobody appreciates my Nicolas Cage impression. Real fast, do your Sean Connery impression, please.
That's not what your mama said.
What was it?
Okay.
What was it from like Family Guy? He's like, it's too late. The damage is done.
I'm Sean Connery. I just love that we're all like the most ethnic.
That was literally a Mexican.
Yeah, a little bit.
By my chiclets.
I'm gonna move on to shade of the week. Actually, I'm gonna skip Eminem versus Machine Gun Kelly because that is who cares. But
this is better.
I'm gonna go to the better one, which is everyone knows from New York Fashion Week. Someone lost a shoe and someone got a bump on their forehead. Nikki,
or bump up their nose.
I know.
That was her twin. That was a big.
Yeah. By the way, that was the talk of the town. We were there, and it was the talk of the freaking town.
It was.
I know it's really sad. Actually, I was telling Murray Swami, I was like, "Oh, should we recreate that?" And just like, I'll throw my shoe at you. But then we just
he was halfway there.
But Harper's Bazaar is going like whoop 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 because they put them on the map beyond belief.
It's just like, girls,
what is happening right over here?
Steven, I want to hear your perspective on this.
I mean, okay, so in my opinion, it'd be like Beyonce coming after someone like Selena Gomez, like coming up, and like Nicki, like there's room at the table.
Yeah.
There's room at the table.
But Nicki's slipping in popularity.
But because of her just being so aggressive in the fact that she just thinks she's the best, and that no one, like everyone that's trying to do their own thing, is now coming for her.
Yeah.
And so she and the whole reason why Cardi B went up to her was really because of Nicki like liking comments and liking things that people are saying when it came to Cardi B's child. And her Cardi B's ability to be a mother, and that's why she walked up.
Yeah,
that's why she walked up to her
in
with the
reality
intention
TV, in real life you cannot
with the intention of just being like, why are you
I
talking about this? Why are you doing this? And apparently Nicki Minaj's team, their security had this thing where like, if Cardi B even comes near us, we're gonna just like get elbow.
They're lining up their reality show when their careers fail.
Well, you know, it keeps everyone interested in both of them. I guess I feel like it's half true and half like.
But she's
publicity.
But it's like she's insecure about her own
I think they're in
fame.
on it together, you guys.
I don't know because that bump looked pretty real. To
yeah,
me.
that bump was crazy. But it's like Nicki's insecure about her fame.
I mean,
if
she had a bump on her shoulder, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But that was on her face. Like, you don't mess with the mug.
I live for this. Like,
I honestly think it was like a slap in the face to Anna Wintour. Because
it's an elbow to the face.
Because of the elbow to the face. It's true. She has the whole Met Gala thing. This was the best.
Met Gala has become trashier and trashier with the Kardashians, with everything.
Oh, well, Harper's Bazaar just raised the bar.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, it's Fashion Week. Like, let's behave ourselves. Damn. I mean, it's like a expensive
fashion.
event.
You invite the Kardashians to Fashion Week.
It's just,
but this is when pop culture becomes a part of fashion or whatever.
It starts becoming prop culture.
And that's what I love what you've done with the drag community. You know, there's some trashy drag out there. You have elevated drag to a glamour.
There's still some trashy drag out there.
I have.
And you have.
Well, I think he's still taking pictures of some of that trashy drag.
Girl, I saw too much.
Oh my! It was nothing. Was it
nothing?
He was earning his keep.
Anyway,
so it's real.
I think I speak for everyone when I say. Anyway.
All right, you guys, another episode of On the Rocks has come and gone. Let's go around the room. Let's tell our viewers and listeners where they can find you. Magnus.
At MagnusHastings.com, at Magnus Hastings. Just basically my name because no one else has it. Look it up.
And your website is great. Go to MagnusHastings.com. Look at his pictures. You can find out a little bit more about him. It's such a great website.
Thanks.
Oh. Was that sarcastic?
No, that was a genuine thanks. I was
You English people are so friendly.
I was looking at the vodka bottle. I'm just like,
what was the thing like? We were like, oh, how English people always insult Americans by like
looking at them.
No, by like saying something like, but like asking them to reaffirm it. They're like, oh, you're kind of like moronic, aren't you?
You're a little bit funny, aren't you?
Like you're just kind of an idiot, you know, right? Yeah. And like, you have to like be like, yeah, sorry.
Like, no. Yeah.
Seriously.
That's not what your mom
Where
said.
can we find you?
Where can we
Anton Khachaturian.
Where can we find you?
You're like Mickey's, Fridays at 4.
Pretty. 4? Damn.
She starts early.
4:30. The easiest one is just, Anton Makeup is Instagram, Twitter. I don't really use Twitter. I use Instagram more. And then Facebook, Beauty School Knockout. Super fun.
And you guys, please watch these episodes. So great.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah.
Mr. Stephen Dehler.
Well, you can find me at Stephen Dehler on Facebook and
Spell
Twitter.
your last name, because I've had emails that they haven't.
Really, it's Dehler.
It's phonetic.
Phonetic would be Deller, but that's what everyone always says. But it's German, so the E and the H make the A's on. Anyway, but that's why the easiest way to find me is on Instagram at TheOnlySteven, and it's Steven with the V. I don't know why people keep spelling that wrong when they message me, but it's still with the V.
Are you Stefan?
No, it's not. It's not Stephen.
You're PH'd.
For Halloween, I want him to come in as
I know you're
Stefan.
not, but they PH you.
They PH me.
Yeah.
It's really
I know you're with a V.
It's really funny when people PH you and you're like, it says my name in the message.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean,
I'm really
it's
confused when
people want to call me I'm like Anthony. I'm like, where does it say Anthony? It just doesn't say Anthony. Anyway, the other day, this adorable girl sent me an email wanting to assist me, and she called me Anthony Khachaturian. And I was like, girl, are you copying and pasting this message to 20 makeup artists? 'Cause nowhere in the world does it say Anthony. Poor thing.
I've done that. Never.
Did you delete her?
Anyway.
What? No, I think we should just promote glitterbombtv.com.
Okay, find us on Instagram because we need some love on Instagram.
Right.
Glitterbomb TV on Instagram. Facebook, Glitterbomb LATV.
Exactly.
And then on the web, find out where you can find us at latv.com/glitterbomb. You can do a search you can find out what channel we're on. We're going to be on your local channel. You don't have to have.
Like, instead of let's get lit, let's get glit.
Done.
Stolen and patented.
And you're welcome.
Although the one we are using is
fabulous.
You guys have to do glitter bomb with jazz hands when I point to you. All right. So until next week, Enrique, what do we say? Keep calm and glitter bomb.
You
guys.
I thought you were going to point to us.
I got it.
You said you point to us.
Okay. Keep calm and glitter bomb. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Maricela. Thank you, everybody. Salsa.
This has been On the Rocks with Alexander, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Universal Broadcasting Network. Find me on Facebook on The Rocks Radio Show. Tweet me or Instagram me at On The Rocks On Air. See you next Tuesday!